breakfast and the sky blue. On our way, time froze, take away not one single moment. That's the way we chose. Tried to say how to slow the clock down. By the way, you were dreaming on our way. Nights turned into seconds. It's okay. You were sleeping all the way. Every star can find us on our way. So bright as the bay disappears behind us. Another day held tight. And the sky blue on our way. Time froze as the bay disappears behind us. Another day held tight.
We have so much fun. I mean, Berke's been absolutely amazing. I mean, you know, he's the fun of this band in particular versus a couple of the other bands is that we've gotten into the idea of detailing the songs. For the last 20 years or so, most of the bands I've been working with have not had a lot of time to rehearse. So you're working with that and doing the best you can with it, and you can do tons with that. But it's been so much fun to really detail and to sit around with guys and really work on parts and have a guy give you 4 or 5 different things until you go, ooh, that's the one, you know. And my favorite is when somebody does something that's totally a mistake, like the wrong note, you know what I mean? But it's right. You know, that's what you're really in it for in a way, you know, is just these ideas that are just completely unlikely that you would never think of or do on purpose, but suddenly that's the deal, you know. And so, you know, that's what's fun about music is it how surprising it can be after all these years, you know.
Can't go much faster, can't make it right. Think of you and drive to the night. Too hard to read a map, tells too much. It's all paper. I want your touch. Touch my hand and touch my heart now. Pop into my world on a feather dart. Made for two, just hang on. Pull me up to you. Yeah, running backwards. More air too late. Air side of you. Fall in place. Maybe it can. Crazy to think it will when you hold out your hand. just hang on, pull me up to you. Air running backwards, more air too late. Air inside of you. Do they even know that you take mine away? We'll go much faster. Can't make it right. Thank you and drive into the night. Into the night. Into the night.
You don't know what's gonna drift in. I've always been very lucky about having about melodies just sort of showing up, and the melody usually dictates the words, and that's why I've started working with a lyricist, David Greenberger, and we've done this album of all his stuff, and we've done that for 30 plus years, and he's an amazing lyricist. I can write an okay lyric, but he tends to be much more into imagery and stuff like that, which is wonderful. But with me, usually, every now and then you'll get an idea for, you just get a title that suggests the whole song, where you just go, okay, I'm done. This is just a little lyrical idea. But for me, more often, it's melodies. And you have no idea what they're going to be about. And you really sort of have to force words on them, which is kind of sad, really. Because they're so, I don't know. For one thing, they're so cute when they're babies. You don't know what they're going to be, and you don't know what they're trying to be yet, And then when you have to sort of, once you put a lyric on it, you go, oh, it's this particular thing, Whereas before, it could have been anything, So I have a mixed relationship with lyrics.
That turned out fine. Trinkets drop by pathways, found them every time. Down a long tight hallway, little hand drops free. Barefoot as the waves are chased back out to sea. While I'm not the man I was, here I am because I once was a strong man, North America. They were made for you. Riddles in a bottle, everything was new. Writing down the numbers as the clock tells. Watch the glowing stars fade, one by one they fell. While I'm not the man I was, here I am because I once was a strong man, North America. Who would know a shortcut through a cornfield? A strong man. I drove with both hands on the steering wheel. A strong man. I would like a glass of water, please. And thank you. Barely like a strong man, I am weak. You made me strong These things I remember to my last day. Nothing else has mattered, these thoughts never stray. Down a long tall hallway, little hand drops free. Barefoot as the waves are chased back out to sea. While I'm not the man I was, here I am because I once was a strong man, North America. When you thought the chimney might be falling, so frightened, that's when I stepped up into my calling, the strong man. When you let the world of love embrace you completely, then it was time to set aside my costume. You made me a strong man, tired, a strong man for you.
The whole humor, having humor in the band, has actually been really difficult. I found out early in my career that it was that if you're opening for somebody and people don't know who you are, that humor is a great way to get over really quick, but it tends to pigeonhole you in a particular spot, and there's not that many musicians nowadays that really use humor well. You can count them on a couple of hands, really. That's why we get compared to people like Frank Zappa and stuff like that, which we really don't have much in common with at all, except that we both use some humor. So it tends to. I think somehow it makes people doubtful or reluctant to think that you could do other things along with the humor. So that's always been really challenging and frankly sometimes tiresome. I like the original challenge, but every now and then I wish you feel like you'd be better off if you just didn't do any humor stuff at all. And that's kind of sad, So I don't know. It has been an interesting challenge. Untitled, untitled, untitled. 'Cause if it's really any good, it shouldn't need a title. Big boxcar, slow sandwich, loose and marred. Can't pick which, leave it untitled. chasing a zillion different sounds from being a voracious listener since I could think. You know, I mean, I've always been a kind of a collector, not as rabid as I used to be maybe, but I love finding new things to listen to, and we love playing Brazilian music and South African music. We were talking about that earlier with somebody, and there's so many different kinds of music to play. And once you find something that just kills you, you go, wow, I wonder how we could do that, you know. So it's really undisciplined.
In the mailbox every month, when the mail arrives at lunch, the cornerstone of waiting rooms and homes throughout the land. And also the source for school reports and cocktail talk of every strand. Nation, national, geography, geographic. See the yellow spines aligned. On this shelf is where we have it. Andes, Ganges, dolphins, banshees, Iceland, Neptune, Mars, camels, horses, railway trains, and futuristic cars. Nation, national, geography, geographic. See the yellow spines aligned. On this shelf is where we have it. Tell me how trees are planted, or how to land on distant planets. All of the things I never studied, let me learn them now. The spines tell what's inside of each. It's nice to read them at the beach, or in a treehouse, or on a boat. Bedtime's also fine. Issues always at the ready when you have the time. Nation, national, geography, geographic. See the yellow spines aligned. On this shelf is where we have it. Beaver dams, palm fronds, turquoise, stones, astronauts, shakers, slugs, slugs and cells and meteors and vastly improved bugs. Nation, national, geography, geographic. See the yellow spines aligned. On this shelf is where we have it. Nation, national, geography, geographic. See the yellow spines aligned. On this shelf is where we have it. Scientists say the future's full of potential natural wonders. All of the things I never studied, let me learn them now.
Yay! That's a sellout! Wonderful!
You know, if you look at it closely for a long period of time, you do start to understand that most of the bands that you really love work really, really hard at it. You know, I remember seeing Maceo Parker loading into the Beachcomber, and you know, in the middle of the afternoon in Wellfleet, which is just full of families, you know, going to lunch and going to the beach and all this kind of stuff, and just rehearsing those guys for 3-4 hours, you know. Just to play, you know, not for anything in particular except to make it sound great, you know. And You know, there's a lot of musicians that, you know, if they see a couple people in the club or something like that, or it's starting to get a little, or people are starting to come in, they just go, no, I don't want to do this in front of people, you know. But you don't have that many chances, is the thing. And I think that's one of the great things about this band, is everybody realizes that. And, you know, you gotta do it whenever you can. You're only going to be around for so long, you know.
Just right.
I would say that I do this because I don't really have an outlet like this anywhere else. And I mean, I've done music director things with other singer-songwriters. This is a real empty canvas, blank canvas. I really have a lot of latitude with two caveats, and these are the best guidelines I've ever gotten from somebody I was working for, and that is fewer notes, more dynamics. And it's something we actually, when we work with other horn players, I actually sit them down. I say, there's two things Chandler really likes. Well, tell us. You know, bebop scales, he likes the music of Charlie Park. What do you, he said, fewer notes, more dynamics. And then that opens up, especially with a lot of people. Now we each have room to do something individual without stepping on the other person or without making just a noise factor. And there are songs when he just yells, freak out, and then we're supposed to just freak out, and that's fine. So just, you know, it just depends on that. But I would say I would be, right now, if Chandler would just decide I'm going to move to Trinidad Tobago and I'm not going to do the band anymore, I would feel like there would be a hole. I would have to kind of look around to find something to fill that this does fill. I didn't realize I was looking for this. You know, one of my friends said, you should come and sit in with this guy. And I went to a gig, and this was back in the late 90s. I sat in, and I didn't have a stand for my saxophone. And I was putting my saxophone in the case, and he walks up to me after the first set. He says, you're not going home, are you? I thought, okay. We're on to something here. And I played the night, and then off and on he would call, and I need someone to cover this. Or do you think? And I mean, I've played bass for him. I've just played the keyboard book. I've taken my clarinet and soprano and been the trumpet player when we couldn't find a trumpet player. You know, so it's been a really nice invitation to be musical in this. But it's really big now, really large body of music. So it would be. I would feel a little bit empty if this were to stop.
Shines, hangs down low. Stay all night to watch it glow. When the moon shines, you know for sure. Always want to be with her. Moonshine, take me far away from all that fuss. Away, wrapped up in us. Fireflies speckling the sky along the shore. Bye, bye, I'm floating out to sea. Don't need no more. When the moon shines, hangs down low, stay all night to watch it glow. When the moon shines, you know for sure. Always want to be with her. all night to watch it glow. When the moon shines, you know for sure, always want to be with her.
Thank you very much. You guys have been really, really nice. That was fun. Thank you.
You know, there's a serious side to me. No, I mean, well, a lot of the things that I like to play the most are ballads. I love playing the ballads, and I've always had I've always enjoyed making people laugh, but making them cry is really good too, and we love playing ballads. You know, I mean, if left to our own devices, we could do that for a while and be very, very happy. And yeah, I love playing all those songs. I've always wanted to write more depressing songs, but I'm just not that depressed. But I'm working on it.
McKelvey, ladies and gentlemen. Berke McKelvey.
I'd pretty much be lost without this. I started off as a fan, and I hadn't sung, and I sang all through college and high school, and choruses and a cappella groups, and I started off as a fan of Chandler. Saw him the first time at the original Philharmonic at the Kirkland Cafe, which was a place in Cambridge Somerville line, and went with a friend of mine. Had seen Chandler and Dinty, I think, at maybe at Passim doing something, one of the campfire nights or something like that, and he said, "Oh, this guy's great." And we went by and went to see the show, and it was great. And we pretty much, my ex-wife and I followed him all over, everywhere. Went to every show, and finally he said, "Oh, can you start selling merchandise? You're at all the shows, I was like, "Oh, sure." I was like, "All right, yeah, sure, I can sell merchandise." And I told him I could sing, so he invited me up to sing right around my birthday one year, and he said, "Oh, you really can sing, I think, I thought she was like, just like you were like going to be a drunk singer on stage, and no, you actually know what you're doing." So why don't you come up in the gang vocals? You can come up in the gang, big anything with songs, big vocal stuff. I was like, okay. So I did that for a while, and at some point, like the two other guys who did harmony vocals couldn't make it. And they also played, they played mandocello and sang harmony, and they couldn't make a gig, and neither one could make a gig. He's like, "Oh, you want to show up in Northampton?" And you're the second vocalist that night. And I've been doing it for off and on pretty much since 2002 or so, and I think I'd be lost without it. It's really great. I mean, I knew all the music to begin with, and it's amazing. It's the stuff I love. I always said I wanted to be in a band. I didn't want to be a leader because I didn't like leading a band, but I only wanted to sing songs I liked. And I found it. Wow.
I'm fantastically lucky. I mean, to get some of the, to just have this obsession, like I say, is very, very lucky. To have people like this that'll help me do it. I mean, I've never prided myself on being a musician, really. I'm just I'm a rhythm guitar player, and it's fun. But I mean, I've always been more of a writer or singer or whatever, but to have this kind of, and same for the big band, to have people of this caliber playing my music and working with me at all is just, it's insane. It's just a blessing. Yeah. Love it.